SABC is very confident that these games will go ahead, but the welfare of the athletes will come first.
That the IOC and the Japanese government and the South African government would not risk the health and the welfare of our team and our delegation if we were concerned about their health, and we will take measures to that end.
Encouraging words in uncertain times. The games have already been moved from the year 2020 to the 23rd of July this year, 100 days from today. To say that these games will be a games like no other is an understatement. And all qualifying athletes will have their work cut out for them both on and off the field.
And this is going to be an interesting one, specifically for African countries that like to celebrate. So one of the guidelines that have been put into place is they are going to discourage shouting and singing to encourage our athletes as they participate, but rather encourage us to just clap. And it makes sense in terms of obviously limiting respiratory spread of droplets.
Even sightseeing attractions outside designated IOC venues will be out of bounds for athletes.
These will not be a games as usual. One of the key things about the games and the excitement about the games is really the level of interaction between athletes, not only within your own country, but also with other countries. That becomes a really critical experience or core experience of past games. We have to comply with principles which include only being able to travel to IOC designated places, which are, in the case of athletes, the Olympic Village, the training venue, and competition venue. So there will be no touring, there will be no traveling, there will be no going to restaurants, there will be no, Olympic houses like we are used to them. And that's quite significant. Even within the village, there will be restrictions, where before, it's a vibrant, active space, there's a lot that's going on that athletes are engaging and interacting with. This is going to be very different, because obviously we need to be sure that we limit the risk of infection between athletes.
The Olympic Games are built on camaraderie, the human spirit's will to succeed, and family values of togetherness. South African sporting federations have already held local qualifying events with teams such as hockey, rugby sevens, and water polo, as well as some swimmers having already qualified for Japan.
I hope that there are obviously a few youngsters coming through and trying to make the qualifying time. So hopefully we can send a nice big group and just carry on with this team spirit all the way through to Olympics.
Team South Africa for the Tokyo Olympics will be announced next month on a date yet to be confirmed by SABC. Newly appointed member to the board of SABC, Khoso Mokoena, kicks off his tenure as the chairman of the Athletes Commission, having to look after the needs and well-being of the athletes.
Being elected the chairperson of the Athletes Commission is it's a great opportunity. I think coming from an athlete who's been there for a couple of years, I think what is more important is to keep our athletes positive, especially now that we have 100 days going to the Olympic Games. So it's to keep them positive and to keep them hungry for the Games. It's what they've been waiting for. Athletes think different than a normal person. A normal person might say, hey, look, it's not safe and blah, blah, blah. But an athlete, whether it's safe or not, they want to go there because that's their livelihood.
The Games will continue, and with the information and the insight that I have about the level of preparation, especially when it comes to medical and clinical guidelines, I am confident that there will be a safe Games.
The athletes who make the cut to Japan will leave in batches of 8, with all participants heading to the Games 7 days before their respective events. Following their participation, they are all required to leave that country within 48 hours. And upon returning home, local COVID-19 regulations for international travelers will apply. Tabiso Sitole, SABC News, Johannesburg.